Welcome to East Tennessee Pinball. Today I've got up this Shaq Attack. The main complaint was this one. It won't start a game. Guy dropped it off yesterday and put it together, and it just real quickly didn't boot up. And I didn't realize on this particular game it's got an interlock for the AC. So I'm gonna press this in real quick. You're gonna see there goes all the power. That cuts 110 volts to the whole game. Not many games have that. I've worked on System 3s that don't have it, so I believe this is System 3. I'll have to look, but anyway, this one does. So that's why it wasn't booting up when the guy dropped it off yesterday. The display is pretty weak. Not much to do with that other than act like you don't see it or get a new one or a new used one. Either a brand new color DMD or a better looking old one that's not all gassed out. Anyway, playfield's it's real super dirty. This thing was on route. He had it on free play at this guy owns a restaurant or bar or something. Anyway, rubbers are pretty much done. It's super filthy, but actually the playfield itself doesn't look too bad. I think this thing is going to really come around. The plastics are really dirty, but you look at the edges and I don't think they're really broken. Not just quick per view. So a couple of digits are out there. I don't know if that's really not showing up. The bottom outside, a couple segments are not working. So I'm gonna flip this playfield up with both hands real quick. So first thing I see is these are all the return grounds, and they're on this board, and that's a notoriously bad design. I mean, the Gottlieb, they never did ground their machines. I mean, it's just like. So basically there's a mod where basically you take all these, basically put them into one single wire and ground it with a screw into this plate instead of going through this connector. It's just a horrible design, and it eliminates lots of different problems. So let's see what these fuses look like. Well, that one's blown. I can see with my eyeball. So that's the third one up. Controlled lamps and switches. Well, that would keep it from booting, I guess, if you don't have a switch. You can turn it off real quick, and I'll just check all of them real quick here. So I'm going to check all these fuses. And you probably heard you really need to pull at least one side of them out to check them, because you might get some continuity back channeling. On most games, that's actually not true. You don't really have to do that, but you should. On the Gottliebs, you absolutely should, because they are the worst about that being the case. I'm going to take them all out anyway and just check that they're the right size. I probably won't film the whole thing. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll just check them, just buzz them real quick. That one's dead, we know. Okay, and then off camera, I'm going to pull them all out and check them again out of circuit and see if they're the right sizes. Okay, I pulled all those out, checked them. They were all the right size. Swapped out that one there, the one that was for the lamps and switches that was blown. I'm going to fire this dude back up again. That's a little sticky. Let's see if it'll credit up here. Take y'all off. He said it was on free play. It may not remember it's on free play. Nope. Let's see if it'll credit. Well, let's check our fuse, see if it blew again. Wow, it looks kind of bent. Like it's distorted. I don't remember it looking like that when I put it in there. Let me pull it out and check it again. Yeah, sure enough, that fuse is blown. It didn't break it because it's slow blow, but you can see it's all warped and distorted. And there's no continuity. It was actually, when I pulled it out, I just turned off the game and it was still a little bit warm. So we have something that is shorting this fuse. So fortunately, it was the right fuse. Well, actually, I didn't check the one that was blown. I've got it laying right here. See if it is the right size. If I can get it to 10 amp slow blow, so it was the right size. So hopefully that protected the rest of the game, and we can just figure out what is shorted. I'm guessing it is probably one of these bridge rectifiers would be my first guess. Hopefully that's it, because that'd be a real easy fix. I'm gonna get out the schematics and we'll see. So that fuse that was blowing is F6. So sure enough, it goes right into this rectifier that makes 20 volts. So the color is 266. Let me see if I think there's a, yeah. So it's red, blue, blue. It doesn't look like the rectifier itself doesn't seem like it's labeled, so, but it's red, blue, blue wires on it. So let me see if I can figure out. I can just test all three of them, I guess. So red, blue, blue. That looks like a red, blue, blue right there. It'd be nice if it was up front. That's red, purple, purple, and that's red, not blue, blue. So I think it's this front one here. So put y'all on the stand and I'll do a diode test on that rectifier. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. Well, let me check these other ones. That's good. Oh, I thought I saw a short there for a second. Oop. Well, that's the bad biscuit right there. That one's, I don't know if y'all can see that. Let me try it again. See, that's shorted right there. No, I'm just charging up a capacitor maybe. Let me see this. I'm assuming those are all in the same orientation. Get my flashlight on so I can see. Yeah, that should be. So that's gotten. So we'll just charge up the capacitor and see where we end up here. Okay, so let's say that. The short, I thought I saw was back here. Yeah, it's a dead short right there. That's again charging up a cap somewhere, but it's going to a. Let's see if it keeps going. Yeah, that didn't quite seem right. A little bit big. I think that is the red, blue, blue right there. So I am gonna swap this dude out right here, and hopefully that'll take care of it. So somebody has worked on this, because all these have spade connectors except for this one, which is soldered onto there. So I don't know, I doubt that's factory. I don't know, they've got like 15 wires on there. Maybe they wouldn't fit in the spade, so they just soldered them. Maybe that is factory. But pretty sure I'm pretty certain that that thing is blown. So I'm gonna swap this dude out, and hopefully that fixes their problem. So here's this rectifier again. I've got it out of the game. I got the same orientation, so there's the negative there, positive, and that's an AC, and the other diagonal is also an AC. So you put the positive on the negative, and then go to the other two sides. You get between 0.4 and 0.7, 0.5, 0.5, and now you put the negative on the positive side. I got 0.5 and dead short. So there's supposed to be there is a diode between these two, but that diode is blown out and it's shorted, and that's what's causing that fuse to blow. So swap this out, and good chance that's going to fix this game. We'll know here in a little bit. All right, I got that new rectifier in there. Used the same spades, and I resoldered that one just like the other one. That one there, like the other one was. I'm pretty sure that was a factory solder job. We'll go ahead and. Oh, I guess I got it turned on to the bottom. Okay. Boot it up. Oh, I still got to I never did swap that fuse out, so it's not going to work without that. Let me do that real quick. And that was a 10 amp slow blow. One left in the pack. You do this one-handed. Yep, I'll turn the game off because the door shut. I do not like that interlock. But that's what we got. Okay, we'll do one more time. Hey, we got our controlled lights. We did not have those before. Okay, let's see if the game will start. Because he said it was on free play. Yep, it started a game. All right. That display is so weak, you can't hardly even see it. It gets a little bit better when it warms up, but probably got a better one in the back. Did we just lose all our control lights? Maybe they're just off because nothing's going. I'm going to reboot this one more time. And Django, if you would stop talking while I'm trying to film, I know. Y'all get so jealous. See our control lights. Yeah, they're still there. It just wasn't blinking them because you're in the game. And nothing was lit up yet. Okay, so a couple of other things probably repair, you know. That's going to get hard to get a rubber on. I think I'll take that off and grind it down. I'm probably going to do all the ground mods to this game also, and I think I'm going to do a full shop job on it also. I'm going to talk to the guy, make sure we're on the same page on all the repairs, give him an estimate to do all this work. Anyway, so got a good start. Got it up and playing anyway, so that's cool. And that was an easy fix. I'm happy for that because that was, you know, you never know. Sometimes they're easy, sometimes they're hard. Well, it's been a few days for me. Back at this Shaq Attack. Next thing I'm going to look at is this left flipper. And I'm going to press a button here, and so what's going on is the high voltages or the high power is flipping it up, but the holding circuit is not holding it. So there's one physical coil down there, but there's two different wraps of wire. Basically the high power pops it up real fast, and then the end of stroke switch opens up, and then the low power one just keeps it up. But the low power is not working, so it's popping up and then it's smacking back, and then that switch is closing, so it's just bouncing back on that end of stroke switch. So it's going high power off, high power off, high power off. It should be going high power to low power and staying up like that one. So it gets high power until it gets up, and then it switches to low power, and that's controlled by that. Get it propped up here, and I'll show you. That switch right there opens up. That one right there. It's just barely opening. Nope, it's opening pretty well. So anyway, there's a fair chance well, we can get the multimeter and measure the coil resistance across here, but quite possibly it's, you know, all these wires seem to be attached. Just give them a good yank. But the little, the red wire there, that's the winding on the coil. It's quite possible that one of those windings is broken. So a lot of times you just take the coil off and reattach it. Sometimes you'll have to pull one wrap off the coil and then attach it, and that's not going to do anything to the coil except to make it work. Or you buy a new coil. So I'm going to pull this off and take a better look at it. So I took the coil stop, so I get at this. First thing you notice is coil stop. It's pretty much shot. Pretty rare for a coil stop to have 3 bolts in it. Kind of reminds me of Total Recall. Some of y'all might get that. So anyway, yeah, so the big red wires there, it goes from the left to the center one, and that's the high power. That's to flip it, and then there's a little tiny wire goes right to there, and the other little tiny wires on the back side. You zoom in a little bit here. Right there. So it goes between this one and this one. There's the back side, and it looks like it's still attached. This front one, it looks like it's burnt up, like it's not attached anymore maybe. Let me get a pick and see if it's still there. But yeah, it definitely looks like it started losing connection, started getting heat, and burnt the rest of the way up. That's kind of the way the things feel sometimes. I'm going to get a pick and see if that is actually attached or not. I figured what I'd do instead here is first I'd measure the resistance. So this first one should be pretty low, like just a few ohms. I've got the multimeter out of sight, so that one's measuring 2.6, and this one should be rather large. So this back one here is measuring 0.6, so it's shorted actually. So yeah, 2.6, that seems right, and across the whole thing is 2.8, so 0.6. And my meter, if I just touch them, I get 0.4 or 0.2, so that's really only 0.4. I can measure the other one on the other side of the game just for comparison purposes. Just to prove to myself and y'all that, wow, no, that is, oh, shoot. Yeah, I've got to open up the end of stroke switch. So let me get a piece of paper and stick in. Okay, so I put a little business card in there on the end of stroke, because basically what that does is it shorts it across there. So when it's closed, it doesn't have to go through the low power, and it gives it just the direct short power. So now if I measure across here, let's see what I get on the low voltage side. It's open. So sure enough, I'm just not getting, there is no low power. So probably that wire right there is loose. Yeah, see, I just pulled it away, if you could see that. I think you can. That wire right there is just loose. So I'm gonna get some tweezers, see what I can do here real quick. So you saw I just unwrapped it, and I used to sand that, because it's hard to y'all see. There's that red coating that keeps it from shorting across itself when it's wrapped up around, but you don't have to sand that off. If you just wrap it around there, that coating will, it's an ablative coating, and it will, when you solder it on there, it will just vaporize into the air. So it's just a matter of wrapping it and then soldering it on there, and then this coil is going to be fixed. So I'm going to, well, I'll wrap it here real quick if y'all want to watch. This is going to be just a matter of getting it on here. I may unsolder those wires and then wrap it. That way it'll be less likely to break in the future. So let me get my soldering iron. All right, so I got that little red coil wire wrapped around there really good. And again, you don't have to strip it first, which is kind of hard on those little ones actually. When you solder it up, it will, all that coating will just vaporize. There. Kind of see that second puff of smoke. And now I just got to solder on those two wires, and this thing's going to work. Obviously, this thing's going to need to be rebuilt, but I'm going to throw it back together real quick just to see that it works. All right, so I got the game booted up. Give it a couple credits here. By the way, that tip for not sanding off the ablative coater, that's straight from Steve at the PBR. He's probably made more coils than most people have laid their eyes on, certainly me. So, put this game up. So that got rid of the chattering problem. Still got to rebuild the flippers. Got to do a lot of stuff. I'm going to end this video here in a second. Couple other things. So there's several of these little digits that are missing a segment. So those are still available. Steve's got some new old stock. This dome is actually available. So this one is actually not too bad, but I don't know if I get it to focus. But there's little tiny scratches on the inside. Again, it's totally serviceable, but not too bad. The backboard, Steve, I'm not sure. I get to talk to him. I don't know if it's the sticker, the red square sticker, or if it's a sticker for the whole thing, or if it's actually the metal plate. But he's got something for that backboard. Hopefully it'll make it a little bit nicer. This game, again, is pretty, well, it's very dirty. There's a little bit of ball trail there, but, I think it's going to clean up pretty well. So I talked to the client. He's going to get the whole thing stripped and cleaned and waxed and go through everything. Going to do the ground mods. Maybe I'll do the ground mods here real quick. While I got you on camera, I'll go ahead and do that. This display, I talked to the client about I thought I had a good used display in the back. Actually, my used one's pretty gassed out too, so we're going to have to figure out something for this. Either get on eBay and find a good used one, or stick with this, or get a new color. The new colors are pretty expensive, so I don't know. So one of the problems of unreliability on this series of games are, these are all the return solenoid signals, so it's a ground for the solenoids, and they basically plug into this little board here. Let's see if I can get them all unplugged here real quick. So all these plug in this board. This board is basically screwed in the chassis. So it's just a source of all kinds of problems, because they're not grounded well. You get stray voltages floating around, and you also get poor performance from your solenoid. So the solution is basically cut these off using a wire nut, strip the ends, put a wire nut, and then put a single wire from, basically this goes into a wire nut, and then from there put a large gauge wire and screw it right into the chassis here. It's very similar to the grounding solution on some of the System 80 games. So it's all documented on PinWiki if you want to read about it, but I'm going to do that, and that will help the reliability of this game. So here's that little board taken out of the game. So those connectors go into here, and this whole board is just one big grounding plate, and then this plate here is screwed on with those little bolts and onto the chassis. So basically those wires are essentially attached to the chassis, but you've got to go through the female connector, the male connector, this connector for the pin to the board, and then the board finally to the chassis. So there's just a whole bunch of connectors that are not necessary. So we're going to get rid of all that, and we're going to make it look like that. I spoke earlier putting wire nuts. On the System 80s, you generally use a wire nut with extra wire, but this, I guess the leads are going to be long enough. So we're going to just put ring connectors on each one of the bundles of wires, and this one has 5. The one in our game only has 4, so we'll have 4 bundles of wires, and we'll screw them in the same 2 holes that we're used to hold this. And we got the screws right here, so all we got to do is take each one of these bundles of wire and strip them back far enough to go in our connectors and crimp them with the proper crimping tool, and it'll be a much more reliable system. So the first thing I did was just cut off that connector there, and next I'm going to get some wire strippers and strip all these back real quick. All right, so I got the first crimp on there, so that's the first one. It's nice to have some automatic wire strippers. That really makes it handy when you crimp these things. Don't just use a pair of pliers, use the proper crimp tool, or the crimps really just, they don't hold as well. These things are color coded. The yellow crimps goes with the yellow dot, and you'll get a good quality crimp. Won't break free. So I'm going to do these other 3 and then screw them in and we'll be done. Okay, here's what it looks like when I'm done. Got those 4 nicely attached to the chassis, so that will help with reliability. Random washer, pick that up, all the little wires. This thing will get vacuumed before it goes out. So I'll probably go ahead and boot this thing up and make sure everything's working still, but it should be. So just boot it up again. If I can hit something that has a solenoid. Okay, there goes the solenoid. Very target. That, I don't know if that has a solenoid or not. I did hit the scoop. Here, I'll hit another scoop. Oh, how about I shoot this thing if it wants me to hit it? Anyway, so it's playing. And like I said, I'll stop the video here. I'll do another video once I, well, I think I will. Maybe I won't. I probably will, just doing the cosmetics, placing this dome. Talk to Steve, the sticker, I just got off the phone with him. The sticker, it's, oh, I just leaned up against the, off the AC button there. But the sticker is that whole backboard, so that thing is, I believe it's going to be a white sticker for the whole thing. It should be nice. I think this game's going to look really nice. The guy's going to LED it. So, ought to be pretty good. And if you like these videos, go ahead and click that like button and hit the subscribe. Cheers.